In the last GermanReal.Estate blog, we touched on the 4 major factors that influence property prices. 2 of these factors suggest falling real estate prices, maybe even a market crash. And now we will see the other 2 reasons why German real estate prices will not fall. No market crash, no bubble bursting, it may be a small hiccup, okay, but the property market will recover quickly. What are those 2 factors? I'll show you in this episode of the GermanReal.Estate blog. The first 2 factors supporting the crash idea were the rising interest rate for mortgages and the fact that real incomes have been going down and might continue to go down if the global recession happens next year, which the World Bank had strong arguments for in their recent press release. Now the question is, will factor 3 and 4 be enough to compensate the pressure from factor 1 and 2? Demographics. Last year we had, with more than 83 million people, the highest population in German history. Especially after the Second World War, in the 90s, and after the global financial crisis was over, there were a lot of babies born. I guess people are winging it if the economy is doing great. When talking about investing in real estate though, you couldn't care less what happened in the past, it's important what will happen in the future. Nobody knows for sure, but there are different projections from the German demographics portal. If there is absolutely no migration to Germany, like in variant 1, our population is shrinking fast because more people die than babies are being born. If people migrate to Germany, which almost always happened in the last plus 30 years, as seen in this chart, 2015 for example, with more than 2 million people migrating to Germany and only 1 million people moving out of Germany, migration will have a huge influence on our population. Depending on what you think in terms of migration, the German population will be variant 2 with a little migration or variant 3 with a lot of migration. That would mean we would at least grow until 2040. Everything after that is highly speculative anyway. 2060 is almost 40 years away. Who wants to project population changes 40 years in advance? Come on guys, there's so many variables in between. 10, 20 years, okay, but 40 years is a little much in my opinion. But even if the overall population would be shrinking, the amount of people that live in cities will grow, in Germany in light blue and worldwide in black. And the amount of old people will grow as well, tremendously. And that is very predictable because there's nothing anybody can do against it. If you are 30 today, you will be 31 next year and 40 in 10 years. So there will always be certain trends that make it worth it to invest in real estate in Germany, simply because of the demographic change. Remember, population growth is only one aspect of demographic change. There are many more aspects to consider. Now, I realize it's tough to invest in many different real estate trends because you only have so much money, and German properties are expensive already. But don't you worry, we got you covered. With our real estate security tokens, you can invest in German properties with very little money, allowing you to invest in many different real estate trends. Check out our website GermanReal.Estate to see what investments are currently available. The last factor 4 is, to me, the most important one that is closing the entire debate if real estate prices will rise or fall or go in circles or whatever. Because I'm a big believer in simple economics that have been proven right and right again for hundreds and thousands of years. I'm talking about the law of supply and demand. The goal of our government is to build 400,000 new flats every single year. Why 400,000? Because given the average lifespan of a property, about 1% of properties in Germany needs to be modernized, renewed, demolished and built new every single year, just to be at 0, which we desperately need given that the German population is at an all-time high right now. That's why 400,000 flats is the goal of our government. Let's see how we've done there. Oopsie daisy! We don't even reach 300,000 flats a year. And in 2022, there were even 2.1% less flats approved than the year before. Big oops. So depending again which population scenario you believe is true, with low or strong migration, we are missing 100,000 flats every single year. And it's not that this is a recent phenomenon. We reached 300,000 flats once in the last 20 years. During the financial crisis, we barely finished 150,000 flats. Let's say we build on average 250,000 flats a year. Seems about right when looking at this chart. That means that in a stagnating population, let's ignore also the fact that the German population is at an all-time high. We are short 150,000 flats a year, which is 1.5 million flats over 10 years, or 3 million flats in the 20 years that this chart reaches back. Is anybody still wondering why rents have been exploding in the last years? Germany is losing at least 100,000 flats every single year. If the supply of flats goes down, but the demand keeps rising, what the f you gonna think is gonna happening to rents and to property prices? And given the recent changes in the world with inflation and the war, the costs to build a property have been rising by about 20%. Which makes the problem even worse because less property developers will start new projects when the margins are going down, meaning less flats are being built. I'm teaching economics at the university, so I think I understand a tiny little bit about this. But I'm always willing to learn. So can anybody of you explain to me how German property prices are supposed to go down significantly over the long term or even crash? I know factor 1 and 2 are not that favorable anymore, so prices might stagnate or go down a little bit for a while, especially in regions that you shouldn't buy a property in the first place. But the overall German real estate market? How? We need to build more properties. And for that, the real estate industry, especially property developers, need money. Who would have thought that, huh? I know we can't fix this issue all on our own, but at least we can try. And that's what we are doing with our real estate security tokens, giving you the chance to invest in German properties so more living space can be built. And you can get a nice return for your effort. Our website is linked in the description if you want to support the cause. Thank you very much and happy investing!